Oh my goodness.
Lydia has the documents.
Yes, we pulled it up.
Okay, so this is I am going to give a garbled version of this because this is like playing telephone. But I'm very, very glad I get to do this because then everyone could be like, okay, he's talking out of his butt. Let me double check. And when they look it up, they'll be like, no, this is right. So Dave Smith, who's this aspiring comedian who you guys have had on the show.
He's great.
He's
Yeah.
amazing.
Love him.
He is a big member of the Libertarian Party. And his followers are something called the Mises Caucus, which is named after this very failed think tank, the Mises Institute. So they're the more radical of the libertarians, right? So he's brought a lot of energy to the Libertarian Party, which has historically and correctly been regarded as a joke. And state by state, they've had these conventions, and they've been electing their slates for delegates, whatever the position is. And the Mecox people have been running the table because he's just bringing in all the energy, and it's all these kind of like lowest status people who have nothing to bring to the table other than this is their chance to be members of the party. They won in New Hampshire. New Hampshire, of all the states, I completely could be wrong on this one. That's the home of the Free State Project. That's where all the hardcore libertarians move to. And people can look up the Free State Project. It's a great idea. I highly encourage people to look it up. What happened was, what was the woman's name? She's Gigi. I sent you the woman who's the head of the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. Unilaterally said Gilletta Jarvis. She was their candidate for governor. I sent you the letter, please, you can read it, where she basically said everyone who was in the Libertarian Party previously is now not part of the Libertarian Party. I am the Libertarian Party because I got unanimously voted to be the chair. I'm going to pass a new series of bylaws unilaterally. No one voted on them. I am going to extend my term to 4 years. No one voted on this. And now this is the new LP, and you guys are not the LP, right?
Wow.
So they're like, well, we have all the bank accounts and everything else. She has their Twitter.
That was awesome.
I went full Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was hardcore.
2 Utes. What is a Ute? What just happened?
Twitter.
Did I just get possessed by
Boston
Snooki?
meets-
Okay. She has their Twitter and their social media. And this was a huge drama. It's like you just stole the entire thing and you're worried about this kind of like alt-right thing. You're acting like a Führer. The Libertarian National Committee had a meeting on YouTube. You could go look it up a couple of days ago. They voted and they basically endorsed what she did. They're like, they're like, look, if you want to dissolve one state party, we have that in our constitution or our bylaws, which is you have a meeting, you call a motion, you're like, all right, 3/4 of the vote, I think it is, this Libertarian Party of New Hampshire dissolves, the nuclear option, we're going to reform it. She's like, we didn't do that. If you want to do that, let's have the vote. They're like, nope. Now the guy who's the head of the Libertarian Party, John Bishop Henchman, I think is his name, he sent out a letter, which Lydia has, and he says, anyone, by the way, I should let you know as a lawyer, this is great libertarianism, anyone who casts aspersions on my integrity, or can you please read it, blah, 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 is setting themselves up for legal action, just so you're warned. And people are like, wait, you're the head of the Libertarian Party, very arguably a public figure, and you're threatening lawsuits against fellow libertarians? But apparently I got a message from Dave that they completely lost and everything's getting handed over right now.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of pushback against the Libertarian Party on Twitter, and the Free State Project tweeted a couple days ago, quote, "The Free State Project was explicitly founded as a result of the continued failures of the Libertarian Party. We're thrilled to see New Hampshire be
Spicy.
growing increasingly libertarian, and very few Free Staters care what party does it." So a lot of people are pushing back, and I'm seeing people burning T-shirts. I'm seeing some people
Wow.
sell the T-shirts.
I am here to declare, let me finish my point. Following suit with, what's her name again?
Gilletta Jarvis.
Gilletta Jarvis. I am hereby declaring that I'm actually the chairman of the Libertarian Party.
Woo.
That all these people who are claiming to be otherwise are fraudulent. I'm kind of the Libertarian Party chairman in exile, and I expect all the party assets to be returned to me according to the new bylaws, which I'm writing, which will be forthcoming.
Can I second that?
Yes,
There you go. It's
absolutely.
done.
I also will
So
endorse that.
look, I got a couple questions. The Free State Project, is that like where they're trying to get all the people to come there and like become residents and then vote for freedom or something?
Yes, and slowly
down.
go into positions
That sounds
in
great.
local government. And they have elected a large number of local representatives that passed a lot of local laws, including ones where you could now choose your tax dollars to go to nonprofits
Love it.
that teach people how to homeschool their children. So your taxes could effectively go towards efforts that free children and educate them through a community way instead of a public schooling way. And New Hampshire slowly and surely is implementing a lot of different actions, a lot of different proposals, and they're getting them through, which is absolutely exciting.
How are the taxes in New Hampshire? It's
No,
like
no
expensive.
income
Property-
tax. It's the lowest.
It's
Really?
one of the lowest tax places, but property taxes are a little bit high. But
Yeah.
it's the
No
place
state
that
tax.
it's the place that has some of the highest gun ownership and the
I think
least
it's the
amount.
highest.
Yeah, and the least amount of murders,
Yep.
the least amount of crime, the place with the highest IQ, the most amount of homeschooled children, the place that has the most economic opportunities, and the most amount of Bitcoiners and more Bitcoin transactions than any other state
What's
in the
their
union.
URL?
Well,
Because they have a list of all
Yeah.
the things that are awesome.
I mean, this is
Hampshire.
why I moved
Um,
to New Hampshire, and I'm going to be going back there in just a few days to be a part of Pork Fest.
Oh
which is
God,
the
you
Free
got to
State
live
Project.
next to Polish people.
I want
Yes, you do.
Man, you were doing so well. Now it's like, no
There's
way.
actually a lot of
Let's-
Polish people in New Hampshire.
Let's go back to this lady.
incidentally.
What's the
I'm
URL
serious.
though?
Hold on. We
Oh,
pulled
sorry,
up.
sorry.
We
Let's
do
go back to
party
this
and drink
lady.
vodka,
Let's
so.
go to this lady, Gilletta Jarvis. She's trying to take over the party.
No,
So-
she has taken over.
Okay,
She's
so
declared
she-
herself to be the party.
She's declared it. She is the Führer of the Libertarian Party. Is it because Dave Smith they don't like, or
Yeah, because they're saying Dave Smith is bringing all these bigots and racists and all these other cathedral terms, and that's not what we're about. So, I finished. I forgot the best part. She said, and this is if you go to LPNH, their Twitter, the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire. If you want to join the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, you have to sign or say, I don't remember what their mechanism is, a loyalty oath that she wrote.
What?
And she put it, go to LPNH, their Twitter.
what is it? Is it just at LPNH?
Yeah, I believe so. It's a big graphic
Interesting.
Let me see if I can. When did they post it?
within the last week, maybe the 12th.
How
So,
many?
Michael, is this just because they've gotten woke? Is that a symptom of this?
They've
what's
been
going on
woke,
here?
and now they're being. This is what it is. The Libertarian Party is a mechanism for lowest status people to have some modicum of respect and do something with their lives. And now that they're being outnumbered and the only thing that's of value to them is being taken away, of course they're going to use every trick at their disposal to maintain their hold on this minuscule amount of power. Now, this is my interpretation. They, of course, have a different perspective that we're keeping the Libertarian Party safe from Nazis, like Dave Smith, even though his family are Holocaust survivors. But that is kind of the two sides of this issue.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because I was watching that YouTube of the executive channel meeting, and I go, this must have been what the Communist Party meetings were like in the 30s, except everyone's on the spectrum.
Yeah.
So Dave Smith tweeted, "The LPNH fiasco has been resolved. The
Oh.
attempted coup has failed. This was not an LPMC versus LP thing. This was a few corrupt people versus all of the decent, honorable people of the Libertarian Party. Real Spike Cohen, Justin Amash,
Amash, yeah.
Carrie, what is this?
Carrie Ann Harlow?
Harlos.
Harlos?
Yes.
Carrie Ann Harlos,
And
yeah.
others displayed true integrity. So I wonder if they took down the loyalty oath thing because I couldn't find it.
Oh, wow. They might. I'll look forward to it. The other thing is they were threatening legal action. They're like, okay, this has nothing to do with your politics. Like, no one vote on this. You can't just one lady say these are the new bylaws. That makes no sense.
Right. So if I vote for Dave Smith, will I get a press secretary Michael Malice along with it?
Yeah. So here's what my deal was. Okay. If you go to maliceforpresssecretary.com, I said to myself, the only way I would sign on to, I would be press secretary during the campaign, not even in presidency. I would say I would sign on as communications director if I had 1 Bitcoin a month in the bank as security, because if they came for me and they try to completely cancel me and destroy me and all these smear pieces, I have to know I'm not going to be homeless.
That would be the greatest thing we have seen in politics in my lifetime.
And this, I promised people, and I will say this right now, and I'll affirm to it under oath. I would unleash such a season of poison on social media that Donald Trump would look like Mother Teresa. I'm not kidding. The amount of hatred and contempt I have for political class is so off the charts that I literally can't even talk about it because the show I would be on would be canceled.
Snap.
I'm doing the Trump hand motion.
That's not saying much
I would
now.
like
I mean,
to,
everyone gets canceled now.
I would like to
We
see
gotta-
a Michael Malice press secretary very much.
I would too.
Yeah,
It'd be
yeah.
very entertaining.
I want to be part of the cabinet, man. Let's roll. Let's build free software.
I want it to happen.
I feel like you'd be the Hunter Biden of this
just
administration.
have me over for dinner, man.
I kind of feel Ian's
We'll
going to be in
talk
a
about
bed with
DMT.
the pipe.
No.
We'll
Well,
legalize DMT.
yeah.
I'm psychedelics all the way. I'm not into the crazy stuff. No
God.
crack. I'm no cocaine.
no, no.
I don't.
Have you
I don't
tried
need-
crack?
Negative.
Okay,
I
I've had
don't know.
friends who tried it. They said
Not
it's
into
really good.
stimulants and downers and uppers. I just like psychedelics.
drugs are bad. Okay.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sugar. Hey.
But what I want to see is your quick wit when the journalists come asking questions.
Do you know what I would do? I'll tell you exactly what I'll do.
Tell me what you do.
The thing that is a real issue with Washington is that it's very incestuous. Now, in a way, it sounds worse than it is, because if you're all like in like a upper class and you're all swimming in the same circles, of course the person who works for this organization is going to marry someone who works for this university. I mean, these are the circles you travel in. But to Americans, it looks much more nefarious. And I think in a sense it is more nefarious than people realize, because if your wife works for this charity, you're kind of going to have a different relationship to it. You can't help it. This is your wife. This is her life's work, right? But if you have that press secretary constantly pointing out these relationships, this is really going to upset them, which is a good in and of itself. But it'll also point out to Americans just how the system is us versus them. It's George Carlin. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. So I think
It's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with.
yeah. So this is the kind of thing where I think people will be very receptive, because it's one thing to be aggressive, like, oh, you're an idiot, you're fake news. It's not to be like, look, you guys are all in this big kind of high school thing, and that leaves the average guy out in the streets, and President Smith is doing something about it, because he's much more of a schlub than he is one of you.
It would be probably
Have you
the
seen how he
greatest.
dresses? It's a disaster. It's a complete embarrassment. I've never seen anything
I-
like it.
I
I don't
think-
say it, others do.
I think the Libertarian Party, for the longest time, was, I don't want to say controlled opposition, but you look at Joe Jorgensen coming out and saying and telling people what they must do was one of the funniest things ever.
She wanted Dershowitz a part of the Supreme Court.
Wow.
Yeah.
She said it is not enough to be not racist. We must be actively anti-racist. And I was like, sure is something seeing the Libertarian Party telling me what I must do.
The Libertarian Party in New Hampshire unfollowed me.
As we're
It
speaking.
said follows you. When I hit refresh, it went away. But they took it back. It's 1 minute ago, literally 1 minute
They're
ago,
listening.
they pinned tweet. We're back, 3 exclamation points. The Libertarian Party of New Hampshire is now in control of our assets and data. We would like to sincerely thank those on the LNC who came to our defense and those who supported us. Help us further our mission and the link is anarchisthandbook.com. So if you want to help the Libertarian Party, make sure you buy the Anarchist Handbook.
This